Hello and welcome to a walk through Philippians. We are in episode 49 on this journey through this remarkable book of Philippians. We're going to be looking today at Philippians chapter 4, verses 4 and 5. And remember, last time we were looking at this situation between Euodia and Syntyche and this disunity that had formed. And we recognized there that Paul really had this on his mind as he was talking through the book. And here we are introduced to a theme that really is a major theme in this book of Philippians, and that is the theme of joy. Some actually call this the epistle of joy. And so let's just dive in together and look at this wonderful topic of joy in the book of Philippians. Our verses today that we are looking at are verse 4 and 5 of Philippians chapter 4. Rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again, rejoice. Let your graciousness be known to everyone. The Lord is near. And this is really, I would say, the pinnacle or the peak of this incredible theme of joy in the book of Philippians. It's such a powerful statement, and one that we know so well. If we know any verse in the book of Philippians, it will no doubt be this one of instruction calling us to joy in the Lord. And so let's look at it together. But as we look at this, perhaps let's just take a quick flip through the book of Philippians, looking at where this theme pops up. Firstly, in Philippians 1, Paul is praying for the Philippians, and he says, I'm always praying with joy for all of you in my every prayer. There's a joy even in his prayers for them. In verse 18, it says, as others are preaching Christ out of selfish ambition, said, what does it matter? Only that Christ is preached, and in this I rejoice. He rejoices in this. Then verse 25 of chapter 1, he is talking about remaining on this earth. He knows his life was in the balance as he was on trial in Rome, but he believes in God that he's going to remain on this earth for the sake of the joy of the Philippians and their progress. And then in chapter 2, he's just calling out for unity within the church. And he says, make my joy complete by thinking the same way. And he's calling them to this one heart. And he was saying his joy will be complete, seeing that outworked in them. In verse 17 and 18, we see this coming up a few times again. Even if I'm poured out as a drink offering on the sacrificial service of your faith, I'm glad and rejoice with all of you. In the same way, you should also be glad and rejoice with me. You see this incredible theme of joy coming through, even in great suffering and hardship, this being poured out as a drink offering. He's calling them to joy and declaring his own joy. He's going to be sending Epaphroditus back to the Philippians, expecting that they will rejoice again being in his presence. There's this joy coming out again. And he's saying that as he arrives, please do greet him and welcome him in the Lord with great joy. And let that joy overflow, that joy you're feeling in your heart, let it overflow in your greeting and your love for him. And again, we see this call to rejoice, and this what we're studying today really is echoed here in chapter 3, verse 1. Rejoice in the Lord. What an incredible instruction and call, command that Paul is giving the Philippian church. Then in chapter 4, verse 1, again, he describes the brothers and sisters as his joy and crown. And then we get to chapter 4, verse 4, rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again, rejoice. Now, this really is not just something he's offering as a suggestion or as a potential option for them to follow. He's giving an instruction. He says, rejoice in the Lord. and rejoice always. And then he emphasizes it again. And when we see things emphasized in the Bible, we must take note, because it's important for us to see it. And as we see this instruction to rejoice in the Lord, it's really calling for a sustained, continuous a finding of joy uh, in the Lord. And this is something we really need to hear, something we really need to know, something that we uh, really need to find for ourselves, emphasize, and outwork in our own Christian walk. It wasn't unique for the Philippians. This is the truth and a reality that you and I can, and not only can, but really should work out in our own life. We've seen this phrase "in the Lord" before, and we see it in chapter 4, verse 1. We studied a couple of episodes ago where it spoke about standing firm in the Lord. And now, not only does he want them to stand firm, but he wants them to find joy where? In the Lord. And now, true joy, true depth of joy, true sustained, unshakable joy, true joy that is echoed through eternity is and can only really be found in the Lord. Now, if you think about that, it just makes sense. Every other joy in this world is so fleeting. Perhaps you have had a chocolate today or sometime recently, and you just found joy in eating something sweet. Perhaps you fellowshipped with a friend recently, and just sitting there spending time with your friend, you just felt such a joy in your heart. So perhaps you were uh, um, uh, enjoying a sporting activity. Perhaps you were going for a run or a cycle, and you just had such joy. Um, all those things are circumstances and situations, and when they're gone, that feeling lingers for a while, but then it fades away, and that's why we'll go again for another run, or connect again with that friend, or have something else to eat, and so that joy is based on circumstances and situations, but that fades, that goes, that's fleeting. It's here for a moment and then gone in the next moment. But our joy in the Lord is something substantial and consistent, and something that we can trust to be an ongoing reality in our life. Uh, Matthew chapter 6, Jesus challenges us not to store up for ourselves treasures on earth. And I would just say that don't store up for yourself joy on earth, because moth and rust destroy, and thieves break in and steal. And whatever you find your joy in on this earth will fade away. It's not wrong to enjoy things, but it's wrong to find that as the source of our joy, because those things are fleeting. It says, "For where your treasure is, there will your heart will be also." And so, in a very real way, we are called to find God as our treasure. We are called to put our trust that all our joy will be met by Him. And that's how we can rejoice in the Lord. And we can rejoice in it, in Him always, because He is always the same. He is unchanging. He is unfading. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. And so we don't just have these fits of joy in the Lord. We don't have little peaks of, oh, that was lovely and that was nice, but we can have a sustained, ongoing joy in the Lord. And not only can we, but we should have. Um, Linking this joy in the Lord to the context and the situation. Remember, Paul was writing to the Philippian church, and really on his heart, he's wanting to speak into the disunity that he sees between Euodia and Syntyche, and he is writing this instruction to rejoice in the Lord. I think because in rejoicing in the Lord, we're able to overcome many of those relational obstacles that we face in our life. Such a beautiful quote by Charles Spurgeon on this very passage. He says, "People who are very happy, especially those who are very happy in the Lord, are not apt either to give offense or take offense. Their minds are so sweetly occupied with higher things that they are not easily distracted by the little troubles that naturally arise among such imperfect creatures as we are. Joy in the Lord is cure for all discord. Should it not be so? What is this joy but the concord of the soul, the accord of the heart with the joy of heaven? Joy in the Lord, then, drives away the discords of the earth. And so our passage for today goes on to say, let your graciousness be known to everyone. The Lord is near. And so there is a joy that we can find that overflows in how we interact with others around us. It overflows in breaking down discord and disunity amongst others around us. There is a joy that we can find in the Lord that affects every other area of our life. And it's a joy that we can have because the Lord is indeed near. So God bless you. May the joy of the Lord be your strength today and always. We'll see you next time.